We're giving you a New York City tourist moment right now, looking at the Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island from One World Observatory. Always a nice sight. And the reason we're here is because MasterCard had a pretty major event. I'm with Garry Lyons, Chief Innovation Officer with MasterCard. So this is a very big day for you. You're changing the logo and you're also moving further into digital pay.
Absolutely. So it's a big event, as you say, Rhonda. We're relaunching the MasterCard brand and we're relaunching Masterpass. We're extending the capabilities beyond where it was before. We always had a fantastic platform that enabled consumers to make payments in-app, in a browser, and today we announced that we've extended into in-store as well. So a consumer can get this fantastic service from their bank that they can use to make payments while still using the credentials of their bank. So if I use my Touch ID or my PIN code, I'll be using the exact same way that I authenticate to my bank to authenticate when I make payments. And I can use this across every channel and across every device. I can give you some examples if you're
Yes, let's take a look.
Okay, so this is the first one I'm going to show you. You can see here.
Going to go this way?
I'm actually going into Facebook Messenger. We actually built this demonstration with JetBlue. So I'm going to go into Facebook Messenger, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to communicate with JetBlue like the way I communicate with my friends. And what it's saying to me here, as you can see behind me, is, you know, where would you like to fly to? And I've got some favorite cities. So it's going to give me some of my favorite cities here. I happen to live in Boston. And you're going to see that I've got the opportunity to fly to New York, I can fly to Los Angeles, I can fly to Chicago. So, you know, we'll fly to New York. Press select. It's then going to say to me, I would imagine, it's going to say, where am I flying from? So I typically fly out of Logan, so it knows that, and it's going to say, leaving from your home, I say yes. Next thing it's going to say is, you know, when do you want to travel? So it's going to intelligently know, when do I plan to travel? I'm going to say next Thursday. So again, I'm engaging with JetBlue in the same way that I engage with my friends through a messaging platform. So it's now going to go, and it's hopefully going to give me some examples of flights from Boston to New York on Thursday. I see the flights. This is the one that works for me. I pay with Masterpass. Now the key thing about Masterpass is I can actually use this across every channel and every device. So I've actually got to have to authenticate my transaction.
Careful, you might actually be buying yourself a ticket.
In this case it's a demonstration, but so in this case I've actually got my mobile banking application and payments are integrated in as an integral part of that. So I've got a JetBlue co-brand card, I've got a World Elite card, I'm going to play with the Platinum card, and you can see here that it's going to cost me $339. I press pay with Masterpass, I use Touch ID, and it really was as simple as that. I've actually made the transaction, and the ticket will be emailed to me.
And explain how many partners you have, generally speaking, in terms of retailers and banks. So it's a pretty broad swath that you've conquered here.
Absolutely. So today we have hundreds of banks around the world that make this available to their customers, and we have hundreds of thousands of merchants live all around the world. So we're expanding that pretty much on a daily basis, and the goal is to make Masterpass the way that every consumer in the world will be able to pay over the next number of years.
And that obviously will be good for MasterCard's business if you can do that. Yeah.
Absolutely, because we see that there are more opportunities for consumers to pay across all channels. And even today in this showcase, we have a partnership with Masabi where I can actually pay for my ticket when I'm using the train. I have a partnership with Samsung and Fresh Direct where I can buy groceries directly from my fridge. With the Cheesecake Factory where I can actually pay for Masterpass, pay at the table. Again, over here I can pay in store with BJ's. And we've got a demonstration here that maybe I'll show you.
Yeah, let's take a look. This is a vending machine, so you don't normally think about using Masterpass perhaps when you're buying soda, but you can now.
This is a special vending machine. It's a regular vending machine. It doesn't actually today. It doesn't accept cards, and this is again is in partnership with Coke. And Lisa's going to give a demonstration of the experience. So I actually start the vending application, and it knows that I'm at the One World Observatory. I'm going to tap, and what it's going to do is it's actually going to connect to the vending machine, and it's going to say make my selection. So I'm going to get a Diet Coke. And what it's going to do then is it's going to go to my banking application. I'm going to select my card. Oops, asking me for that. Once I actually pay, it's then going to vend. It really was as simple as that.
So Garry, since you're Chief Innovation Officer, which by the way is a pretty cool title, how close are we to the point where nobody carries cash or coins anymore?
Yeah, that's a very, very difficult question. I think ultimately what we're trying to do is we're trying to deliver consumer choice, and consumers are going to want to use cash, they're going to use card, and they're going to want to use their mobile device. What we're working to do is we're working to make their mobile payment experience, and not just their mobile payment experience, their experience across all devices and across all channels, better, such that they actually want to use their mobile device or indeed their card. But I think it'll be a little bit of time before cash goes away.
Why has there been, in some cases, slow adoption to mobile pay? Is it just people not understanding it, or it's not as easy as it could be, or it's just a generational thing?
I think there's a number of different reasons. I think ultimately cards provide a fantastic experience today. So if you go into a store, you pay, you tap and go, it's a pretty great experience. What we want to do is we want to make the experience as good on the phone. So there's actually a reason for the consumer to move. Consumers don't want to change unless what they're actually moving to is better than what they've actually been used to. So changing behavior is hard. So ultimately what we want to do is partner with banking institutions around the world so we can actually deliver value-added services to these customers. So it could be that I open my mobile application and I see my balance on screen, maybe my coupons, my loyalty, my digital receipts are all in one place. So the ability to actually make the experience better and take advantage of the fact that this is a computer I have in my hand as opposed to a card, which provides a great experience, and the chip makes it more secure, but ultimately there's an opportunity to make the experience better. And I think consumers will move towards that. I think they'll move more quickly to it when it's provided by their bank, and I think they'll move more quickly to it when it actually enables them to do more than they can do with their card today. And going beyond that, I think when they feel that they can actually truly leave home without a card or without cash.
Makes it easy, but I want to bring up something else that you guys mentioned that's important. You think this is a more secure method of pay in terms of fraud? Because we heard already once chips came into cards, and there's always a way to get around things, but this is something that if you have a security concern, you are telling your customers that this is definitely superior.
Yeah, it's superior in a number of different ways, because what we've taken is a multi-layered approach to security. So for example, when you actually register your card into Masterpass, or your bank registers your card into Masterpass, they're actually guaranteeing that you are who you're claiming to be. So nobody can take my card and register it into MasterCard. Then the card details are never provided to someone I don't trust. I'm actually using a tokenization, which we actually use in Android Pay, in Apple Pay, and also in Masterpass. So my real card details are not stored on the device, and they're never actually transmitted to the merchant. And then we can go beyond that. The bank then authenticates me for the transaction in the same way they authenticate me for mobile payments today, or mobile banking today. And then we've obviously got other features, like for example, we've got built-in fraud monitoring and detection at the network level. So it's actually the layered approach that allows us to make it a more secure experience. But in many ways, the consumer wants it to be more secure, but what we're doing is we're taking the complexity of that and almost hiding it from the consumer. So you can see when I make the payment, it's a really, really slick, simple experience, but behind that there's a lot of complexity in actually making it as secure as it can be.
And tell me how quickly this is going to be rolling out in terms of across the country, how many more retailers potentially might join, and banks?
Well, ultimately we're going to make it available to all retailers. We're rolling out in the US with some of the partners like Citibank, like Bank of America, like Capital One, like Fifth Third, like KeyBank. So some of the big banks around the US are actually going to make this available through either their mobile banking application or as a companion application that the consumer can download and use for payments. So we'll be seeing that start in the coming weeks, and then it'll roll out at scale over the coming months and years.
Garry Lyons, thanks so much for an update on some of the big announcements here today. You've got yourself a Diet Coke and a plane ticket, so you're good to go. Thanks so much.
Thanks very much, Wanda.